devices. Also, take this moment to locate your nearest available exit from the theater, which may be different from the entrance you used. Please note that any recording or photography is not permitted. Thank you for your cooperation.
Our program is about to begin. Please remain seated as we welcome dignitaries and graduation candidates as they process into the auditorium. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please take a seat. I am Nisha Bochwe. I am the Dean of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, and it is such a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm a little off script already, but I just have to say my heart is full to see all of you here this afternoon. On behalf of the entire Humphrey School, I welcome you graduates, your family and friends, and the community members who've come to today's commencement ceremony, which is back in person for the first time since 2019. Thanks to University of Minnesota Regent Ken Powell for presiding over the conferral of degrees today. Ken is a supporter and friend of the Humphrey School, and we're glad that he is here to celebrate this event with us. I would also like to thank our staff and volunteers who worked to make today special for all of you. Thank you. Graduates, your last few years, whether it's been here at the Humphrey School, out in the world, or both, the degree you earn here prepares you to make a positive impact on the world. You learn from esteemed faculty members whose research addresses some of today's most pressing challenges. It's because of their scholarship and engagement that we remain a nationally recognized public affairs school, one that sends leaders into communities throughout the world. Please join me in thanking our Humphrey School faculty members, many of whom are on the stage with me today, for all they do to directly make a difference in the world, while preparing you, our students, to do the same, to have the same positive impact. Master's degree candidates in public policy, urban and regional planning, human rights, development practice, public affairs, science, technology, and environmental policy, and PhD candidates in public affairs from this year, 2022, and graduates who are with us today from 2021 and 2020, you journeyed through the full throes of the dual pandemics of COVID-19 and systemic racism. And together, we are transforming the world to have a positive impact for something better, better for everyone. A more just, healthy, and sustainable tomorrow, right here in Minneapolis and St. Paul, the great state of Minnesota, the nation, and the world. And while I celebrate our fortune, our blessing, our luck to be here physically in person, I acknowledge the land that our school, this venue, and the entire university system resides on. The traditional lands, homelands of the Dakota and Ojibwe, and scores of other indigenous peoples. Graduates, the world's challenges are playing out before us with conflicts happening around the globe, human rights violations and climate crises, to name just a few. The world is small. What happens across the globe affects each one of us right here. And the world is small. What you do in response to those challenges will have a positive impact on public affairs, on the people and communities around the globe. You have the power to create that change. Welcome again, Let's commence. This morning and over the course of the last few weeks, our school community recognized and celebrated the exemplary work of you, our graduates. In a few moments, we'll welcome our Associate Dean for Faculty and Strategic Initiatives, Catherine Squires. She'll tell us about those accomplishments and introduce our student speaker. But first, our school, university, state, and nation just gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of former Vice President Walter Mondale. Here to say a few words about what Mr. Mondale meant to the Humphrey School is Professor Larry Jacobs.
Greetings and congratulations. Starting in 2005, Walter Mondale and I worked together at the Humphrey School. We worked on a memoir that Dave Hoggy wrote. We worked on a documentary that Melody Gilbert produced. The core of our work together, though, were the students at the Humphrey School and the university. We taught thousands of students. And I think of all the things Walter Mondale did, particularly in the last 20 years of his life, this meant the most. Much has been said about Mr. Mondale's national and international accomplishments. I want to just say a few words about his values as a person from a small southern town here in Minnesota and as a professor at the Humphrey School. One value, and I think important lesson, has to do with humility. At the end of a trip that we took to the Carter Library, I scurried about and got dinner somewhere in the airport. I hustled back to give it to him and was stopped outside the frequent flyer lounge. The hostess was saying, "You can't bring food in here." And the words were forming in my mouth. But I am here with the Vice President of the United States of America. Those words were forming. You could see them like lined up here to come out my mouth. Walter Mondale put his hand up, cut me off, and said, "We're no different." And then we headed outside, and as he must have expected, soon dozens of people lined up because of his connection to Jimmy Carter, the favorite son of Atlanta. And he talked to everybody. He gave them the time and the grace of their time together. He laughed with them. There were a few Republicans who wanted to settle some scores, and he grinned and nodded his head, and I think everybody left feeling that they were respected. Practicing democracy, this was a core Mondale value, and he often implored our students to exercise what he described as America's fundamental, profound, and sacred principles of democracies. And there were students, because, students say what they're going to say, thank you for that, who would say, "It doesn't work that way anymore. Nothing gets done here." And then Mr. Mondale would give witness to what he has seen, including the power of American democracy to transform the violent, racist South that he knew in the 1950s. He was amazed, and he shared that. He shared his amazement with the transformation of girls who, when he entered the Senate in the early 1960s, were restricted to the grandstand. By the time he left, they were on the courts. And today, could you imagine having sports without women being on those courts? It's a great accomplishment, and one that he would preach on as something that demonstrated the power of democracy. And then he would talk about the art of politics. How do you get stuff done? Well, he always talked about searching for allies to build a coalition. And he would say, your coalition starts with your strongest supporters, but then it needs to broaden out. It needs to encompass those who may not agree with you fully, may have other ideas, because none of us hold a monopoly on the best ideas. He also talked about the future and designing policy for it. Mr. Mondale, single-handedly got the fight going for what became the Fair Housing Act of 1968. And he would talk about that, and there would often be kind of a skeptical look. And you could read the mind of some of the students like, really, 1968? It's been 50 years. What could 68 have to do with us today? And Mr. Mondale would talk about that, about how in 1968 he cut painful compromises because he expected that today, and I mean today, that the Fair Housing Act would set standards for housing without discrimination so that there could be a fight, a continuing fight over fair housing, and would create legal tools to conduct that fight. And I guarantee you, in America at this moment, there's some lawyer working and using the Fair Housing Act to continue the fight for fair housing. Third value, country over party. Mr. Mondale was a devoted Democrat. He was a powerful social justice advocate, never wavered on that. But he also was clear that his highest calling was to serve the U.S. Constitution. On election night, 1984, Mr. Mondale and his progressive agenda were soundly defeated by Ronald Reagan. To his very end, it was one of the most painful moments in his life. At that moment, though, at the end of the campaign in 1984, candidate Mondale stood in front of his downcast supporters to thank them and report that he had congratulated President Ronald Reagan on his re-election, speaking firmly and insistently over the murmurs of disapproval among his supporters. Mr. Mondale talked about a higher loyalty. We are all Americans. He is our president, and we honor him tonight. And I tell you here now that I do worry that our loyalty to our country's enduring laws, our institutions, our values, our search for a common community are giving way to a win-at-all-cost kind of politics and unrestrained displays of ego. Walter Mondale demonstrated something else for us: service to the broad, inclusive community, and his unyielding faith in American democracy, even at those painful moments of defeat. Thank you, Mr. Mondale.
Thank you. Good afternoon, graduates, family, and friends. Right now, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our academic and leadership awards, as well as our outstanding instructors. The names of these awards and the criteria for which they are given are listed at the back of your program for reference. And this morning, I had the pleasure of being part of the Humphrey School Awards Brunch, where we honored these amazing students and faculty members. And thanks to all of you who were able to attend to celebrate with your students and celebrate with our faculty and staff. And so behind me on the screen, you will see a list of this year's honorees. And if you were recognized with an award this year, would you please stand up so that we can recognize you as a group? And now, before she sits down again, I have the great pleasure of introducing this year's student speaker who was voted by her peers to give today's speech, Adriana Goodwin.
Bonjour, everybody. Washkubanesikwe Nindigo, Mayenga Nindudem, Miskwagami, Wizaganing, Nindunjuba. Greetings, everybody. My colonized name is Adriana Goodwin. And although this isn't a traditional name in my language of Ojibwe, this name holds significance as it was gifted from my grandma Lois, bringing together both sides of my family. Throughout this speech, I will use what little bit of Ojibwe I know, Bungi etago Ojibwe moan, interchangeably with English. I am also a citizen of the Great Red Lake Nation. My people have lived about 250 miles north of the Twin Cities for generations, which is located in what is now more commonly known as northern Minnesota. The water at the edge of the lake cascades for as far as the eye can see. Fresh walleye is ample. The trees stand tall and strong, and the stars shine so bright on the brightest and coldest of nights. We are a nation of warriors, being one of two closed tribal nations in the continental United States, meaning that we hold our ancestral land in common. We pride ourselves in our ability to withstand outside colonial institutions, and to my knowledge, I am the first Red Lake Nation citizen to receive my master's in public policy from the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Today is a momentous day for many reasons, but it is of particular importance for us as graduates as we bring diversity, experiences, and our own unique stories from around the world to the University of Minnesota, embarking on this journey together. Who you are, the communities you represent, the languages you speak are beautiful, and I encourage you all to keep centering this, and the beauty within each of us is what brought us here. Congratulations for all the hard work and dedication that each of us endured these last couple of years, and I am beyond honored to have been nominated and chosen to be this year's commencement speaker. Please, let's give another round of applause to the graduates. As I prepared for today, I reflected on my life and the accomplishments I've had thus far. However, this journey has not always been easy. My people and I still experience intergenerational trauma from the government boarding schools where Richard Henry Pratt stated, to kill the Indian and to save the man. This morning, as we left the Humphrey School, my niece asked me, "Auntie, what is the boarding school?" And I told her that it was a place where they sent our babies, cut our hair, and forced them to learn English. It was a place of sadness where our languages were forbidden, and through these experiences and researching this very institution on the Towards Recognition and University Tribal Healing Project, or otherwise commonly referred to as the Truth Project, I realized that spaces like these were never intended for people like me. But here I am, a student and soon to be graduate at one of the best public policy schools in the United States. This has been a life-changing moment. This has been a life-changing moment not only for my family, but for my people, because as I enter these spaces, I know that they and my ancestors are with me. To understand how we got to this point in time, we must have an understanding of the past. Our prophecies and stories of creation brought us here to the place where food grows on water. Our monomen, or wild rice, has provided us sustenance for generations. We view this sacred being as a relative, harvesting it in the fall with our families. Science tells us today that we are essentially star matter. This is something that we have always known as Ojibwe people, as first man and first woman were sent here from the Milky Way. Modern day science is just now catching up to what we as a people have always known. In 1883, via the Code of Indian Offenses, it was illegal for me to wear my ceremonial dress such as this one. And it wasn't until one generation ago that Congress passed the Indian Religion Freedom Act that formally recognized our right to practice our ceremonies. But today, I get to wear this dress in this space and bring the healing powers that it contains to each and every one of you, and also to those of you who are attending and watching virtually. In addition to the Religious Freedom Act being passed in 1978, the Indian Child Welfare Act also made its way through Congress, starting the long process of undoing the harm that the boarding schools and colonization inflicted. History has a story to tell, and it's important that we acknowledge where we have come from to know where we are going. With a greater sense of knowing, we as a society can begin to do better so as not to repeat the same mistakes of the past. And as policy students, we have been equipped with the tools to center the communities that the research affects. Beyond being students at this institution, we have formed genuine relationships with one another. I'd like to thank my peers and my capstone team for the amazing data we collected this previous semester. This research has the potential to make profound, everlasting change here at the University of Minnesota. I'll always cherish and remember the conversations that we have had with one another, especially when we spent an hour and a half talking about the zombie apocalypse and what we would do if it ever happens. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Angela Ferdig for making me feel included and valued in this space. Our friendship means so much to you. Thank you, and all of us talk so highly of you. To Dr. Judy Temple, my academic advisor, thank you for spending countless hours with me, making sure that I'm meeting the requirements for the degree program. I appreciate your insight and wisdom. To Dr. Greg Lindsay, thank you for offering me critical advice. This advice has strengthened my writing skills, and it has reminded me to think of all those possible alternatives. To Dr. Joe Sauce, I'll always remember the lecture you gave where you told us that some rules were meant to be broken. I think of this every day. Through these experiences, we were reminded of the importance that relationship building has. Graduation is a culmination of not only our success, but it is also a moment to acknowledge the support of friends, family, and loved ones. Mom, Dad, I love you. Thank you for all that you do for my children and I. You both have helped us grow and learn in so many ways, and we will always be grateful for you. My brothers and sisters, you are my best friends forever. I wouldn't have gotten here without your support and protection. To my friends and loved ones, thank you for listening to me when I needed it the most. To my grandmas, thank you for loving me before I was even here. And a thank you to all of the other special people, including Shonday, that have gotten me here. I hope that we all remember those people, places, and experiences that got us here in this space. Graduates, can we please give a round of applause to all of the people that helped make today happen? All of us here were sent from the stars to be in this space and time for a reason. And I've been dreaming of this moment ever since I was a little girl, getting lost in the pages of a book. The words that I read turned into vibrant stories. And now I write my own words and I create my own story, as each and every one of us are doing. To the babies and to all of the people that have yet to make their dreams a reality, I wanted to remind you that dreams do come true and to continue dreaming. As we leave this space today and go off into the various parts of the world, I want to remind you all of the community we have built here, and of Debwewin, Minawag, Weak, Chigewin, truth and honesty, which means to say and do the right thing, and to speak and do from the heart. Because through community and through connections, we can create change, and we can envision a brighter, more inclusive future for all peoples. Congratulations again, graduates. It has been an honor to share space with you all today. Miigwech Bizendao Yeg meet you. Aho.
Thank you, Adriana. We now have the rare privilege of bestowing the highest honor the university can bestow, an honorary doctoral degree in humane letters, to Daisaku Ikeda, a Buddhist philosopher and global peace builder. It is difficult to adequately describe a person of such extraordinary caliber and immense accomplishments, but I hope to give you a small glimpse of the vast life of Mr. Ikeda. Mr. Ikeda's lifetime of peace building was born out of his firsthand experience of the devastation of war. As a young person who lost an older brother to World War II in Japan, he saw his society in ruins. He was earnestly seeking the meaning of life. It was at this time, 75 years ago, at the age of 19, that he met his lifelong mentor, Josei Toda, a man whose unyielding stand against injustice and his passion to eliminate misery in the world brought about a firm resolve to rid the world of war and conflict and to bring about an age of peace and harmony. Following the example of Mr. Toda, Ikeda has striven for 7 decades to foster capable young people as humanistic leaders of the future, fully trusting in their pure-hearted desire to create a peaceful and healthy planet. With this aim in mind, Ikeda has founded the Soka school system from kindergartens to universities in 7 countries, has established multiple cultural organizations promoting the exchange of art and music throughout the world, has held wide-ranging dialogues with hundreds of leaders in every field of human endeavor, and has authored numerous literary works. Mr. Ikeda says, and I quote, "I believe youth can last a lifetime. Inner youthfulness is not a matter of our physical age. Rather, it is determined by the passion with which we live, the enthusiasm with which we learn, the freshness and energy with which we advance towards our chosen goals in life." He also shares, and I quote, "Peace that is based on the forceful suppression of others' voices and concerns surely is not the peace for which humanity yearns. Great good can come of great evil, but this will not happen on its own. Courage is always required to transform evil into good. Now is the time for each of us to bring forth such courage. The courage of nonviolence, the courage of dialogue, the courage to listen to what we would rather not hear." Now, at the age of 94, although he couldn't physically travel to be with us today, he still contributes to the movement of peace and nonviolence as actively as ever. This January, for example, he published his 40th annual peace proposal to the United Nations entitled "Transforming Human History: The Light of Peace and Dignity," wherein he makes an even stronger case for the need for human-to-human connections as a path to not only defeat divisiveness, but also war, climate change, and other environmental crises, and the pandemic. To honor these outstanding contributions to global society, we will now have the citation reading by Regent Kenneth Powell, followed by the hooding ceremony with a representative of Mr. Ikeda's delegation, Yoshiki Tanagawa. I invite University of Minnesota Regent Ken Powell to the podium to confer the honor.
Good afternoon to one and all. It is a great honor not only to be part of the Humphrey School's commencement ceremony, but also to recognize such a profound leader like Mr. Daisuke Ikeda. And let me read now from the official citation. Native of Tokyo, Japan, graduate of Haganaka National School, graduate of Toya Trade School, student of Taisei Gakuen in political science, honorary president, Soka Gakuen, president and founder, Soka Gakkai, international founder, Toda Peace Institute, Makaguchi Foundation for Education, Center for Peace, Learning, and Dialogue, Soka Institute for Environmental Studies and Research of the Amazon, the Victor Hugo House of Literature, the Tokyo Fuji Art Museum, the Komeito Party, the Minnan Concert Association, and the Institute of Oriental Philosophy, founder of no less than 13 Soka schools and universities, author of prolific works, that have been translated and published into 50 languages on topics ranging from nuclear nonproliferation to climate change, human rights, and Buddhist philosophy, written for many groups, from children to the United Nations, honorary citizen of more than 800 cities, states, and local governments around the world. Because of your unwavering belief in the vital need to unite people of goodwill and conscience to promote peace, culture, human rights, and education worldwide, because of your decades of leadership of Soka Gakuen International, one of the world's largest and most diverse Buddhist movements, because of your lifelong passion to work for peace and root out the fundamental causes of human conflict, because you have taken every opportunity to advocate and propagate the need for the improvement of society, starting from within each individual, because you espouse education as a means of enhancing understanding and dialogue across philosophical and ideological boundaries, and because your momentous achievements have been guided by your central tenet of the dignity of life of all human beings.
パウエル理事、ボーチュウェイ大学院長とスクワイヤーズ副大学院長、ハンフリー公共政策大学院の諸先生方、ジェンキンス国務次官閣下、さらには本式典には残念ながらご欠席ではありますが、ご支援を賜った尊敬するゲイブル学長と、食品農業天然資源科学部のバー学部長、
Regent Powell, Dean Botchway, and Associate Dean Squires, distinguished members of the faculty of Humphrey School of Public Affairs, Ambassador Jenkins, Undersecretary of State, and respected President Gable and Dean Barr of College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences, who could not be here but supported this honorary award.
最初にコロナ禍等の幾多の試練を勝ち越えて晴れの門出を迎えられた誇り高き卒業生の皆さんに心からお祝いを申し上げます。誠に誠におめでとうございます。
Allow me first to extend my heartfelt felicitations to the proud graduates of the University of Minnesota who have overcome so many challenges, including those arising from the COVID-19 pandemic, to arrive at this moment of celebration. Many congratulations.
大学とともに人生の年輪を重ね、毎年万感の思いで卒業生を送り出してきた一人として、同窓の友たちと大切にしている仏典の言葉があります。それは、去って去らず、去らずして去ると、たとえ身は離れても心は自在です。ミネソタ州内に源を発し、紀大学のキャンパスを貫くミシシッピ川は、たゆまず流れ、しかもどの水もつながり合って広大な大地を潤し続けていきます。
As a founder of a university myself, and having shared the years of growth with that institution, I know the profound emotions with which one sends off graduates year after year. There is a passage from a Buddhist text which I, together with our alumni, always cherish. It describes a, quote, departure that is not a departure, unquote. That is, even if we leave and are physically apart, in our hearts, we are always free to return and reunite. The Mississippi River, which runs through your campus, has its headwaters in the state of Minnesota. From this source, it ceaselessly flows off and away, and yet its water remains connected in a continuous stream as it enriches vast expanses of land.
それと同じように、大学という尽きることのない精神の水源に融合する卒業生一人一人の生命は、満々たる英知と活力をたたえて、学友たちと絶妙なる連携を取りながら、社会へ世界へ未来へ新たな価値を創造していけるのではないでしょうか。
In the same way, I believe that each graduate, fused with the life of the university and drawing on it as an inexhaustible wellspring of the spirit, will go on to create new value for humanity as you flow, lives brimming with wisdom and vitality, out into society, the world, and the future. And you will do this in exquisite communion with your fellow alumni.
ミネソタ大学の紋章には、あらゆる学術のための共通の絆という誠に素晴らしきモットーが刻まれております。この最高峰の名門学府より光栄にも本日、私は名誉人文学博士号を賜りました。最も誉れある人間教育の大河の絆に連なせていただいた栄誉を、共に生命尊厳と人道の世紀を目指して行動する貴国アメリカをはじめ、192カ国地域の総下の世界市民と分かち合わせていただくことができ、これほどの喜びはございません。心から御礼を申し上げます。誠に誠にありがとうございます。
Inscribed in Latin on the Regent Seal of the University of Minnesota is its wonderful motto, translated as a common bond for all the arts. Today, it is my immense honor to receive the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, from this most prestigious institution of higher learning. It is a truly great honor to be able to share this common bond with the University of Minnesota in the grand and ceaseless endeavor of humanistic education. I offer heartfelt thanks on behalf of myself and the members of the Soka Gakkai International in the United States and in 192 countries and territories worldwide who are striving as global citizens to usher in a century of humanity in which the dignity of life is ensured. Thank you very much indeed for this honor.
キー大学との尊き絆は、実は私にとりましてちょうど50年前、1972年の5月に対話を開始した20世紀を代表する歴史学者、アーノルド・J・トインビー博士との忘れぬ縁にもつながっております。博士との対話は翌年も行い、合計40時間に及びましたが、その中で全米各地をはじめ、世界中を旅された思い出も伺いました。
The precious bond I now share with your university is also associated with the unforgettable bond I shared with the renowned British historian, Dr. Arnold J. Toynbee. Just 50 years ago this month, in May 1972, Dr. Toynbee and I initiated a series of dialogues which continued into the following year. Over the course of our talks, which extended in total to more than 40 hours, he shared with me his memories of traveling through the United States and around the world.
博士は1955年11月、キ大学で重要な講演をされております。すなわち、人類が破滅を避ける唯一の道は、世界が社会的融合を成し遂げ、一つの家族となっていくことだと訴えられました。そして人類が必要としているものは、互いの差異から学び、差異を人類共通の未来の宝と認識して、異なる人々の生き方に学んでいくことである、と語られたのであります。40歳も若い私を西洋と東洋を結ぶ対話に招いてくださったのも、博士がこの信念を体現されていたからであると、今改めて感謝が込み上げてまいります。
In November 1955, Dr. Toynbee delivered an important lecture at the University of Minnesota. In it, he advocated that the only way to avoid the destruction of humankind is for societies around the world to learn to live together as a single family. Dr. Toynbee continued, that, quote, what mankind needs now, above all, is time for the different peoples to become familiar with one another's diverse ways of life and to appreciate them as parts of a unified mankind's common future heritage, unquote. I believe that Dr. Toynbee's invitation to me, a person 40 years his junior, to engage in a dialogue from the perspectives of East and West was a manifestation of this conviction, and I recall this gesture with a profound sense of gratitude.
博士が託してくださったこの才から学び合う対話の道を、私も法恩と後継の1年で半世紀にわたり貫き通してまいりました。インド近代農業の父と仰がれる M.S. スワミナサン博士も共に対談集を発刊した一人です。くしくもその一書の中で満行の敬意をもって忍んだのが、ミネソタ大学の出身で世界の民衆を食糧危機から救い、ノーベル平和賞を受賞されたノーマン・ボーローグ博士だったのであります。
For the past half century, I have made all efforts to pursue the path of dialogue, of learning from each other's differences, entrusted to me by Dr. Toynbee. In this way, I have sought to express my gratitude and fulfill my pledge to carry on Dr. Toynbee's legacy. Among those with whom I have engaged in such dialogues is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, looked up to as the father of agricultural modernization in India. In the book containing our exchanges, we discuss with profound respect the achievements of University of Minnesota alumnus Dr. Norman Ernest Borlaug, recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in reducing global hunger.
ボーローグ博士は若き日に貴大学で結んだ師弟の絆を原点とし、そしてあらゆる学術のための共通の絆を世界中に広げながら、ネバーギブアップの不屈の努力で奇跡の小麦を生み出し、緑の革命を成し遂げられました。この博士が飢えと悲惨がある限り平和な世界を築くことはできないと喝破し、時代の流れは競争ではなく協力に向かわなければならないと叫ばれていたことが、私の胸にひときわ深く強く迫ってならないのであります。
Inspired by the encouragement of his mentor at the University of Minnesota, Dr. Borlaug went on to build a common bond for all the arts throughout the world, and with his unyielding never-give-up spirit, developed the high-yielding wheat varieties that were crucial to the Green Revolution. Today, more than ever, we must heed Dr. Borlaug's impassioned words, quote, "You can't build a peaceful world on empty stomachs and human misery," and his call for cooperation, not competition, to be the order of the day.
東洋には源と多ければ流れ流しという箴言があります。ミネソタ大学は1851年、すべての人間は知の力によって豊かになるとの崇高な理念を掲げて創立されました。まさしくかけがえのない知の力の源たる大学からほとばしる勢いで危機の時代に立ち向かっていく卒業生の皆さん方の使命がどれほど大きいか、かの民衆詩人ホイットマンが地上で最も重要な流れと歌い上げたミシシッピ川の流れのごとく、悠々とまた堂々と地球民族の明日へ幸福と栄光の花々を爛漫と咲かせていかれることを私は念願するとともに確信してやみません。
There is an Eastern saying that the farther the source, the longer the stream. The University of Minnesota was founded in 1851 on the noble conviction that all people are enriched by understanding. The scale of the mission of today's graduates, who will set out from today to confront an era of crisis with energy and momentum, is truly immeasurable. I know that your years at your alma mater will continue always to serve as a source of enriching understanding. The people's poet, Walt Whitman, extolled the importance of the Mississippi River as unmatched by any on earth. It is my hope and my confidence that today's graduates will achieve personal happiness and success, as well as great contributions for the future of a united humankind.
私も我が後継の世界の青年たちとともどもに 貴大学の絆に勇んで連なりながら、平和と文化と教育の大河をいやまして未来へ通わしていくことを固くお誓いするものであります。
Today, as I proudly join the University of Minnesota family, I firmly pledge to work alongside young people throughout the world to ensure that the great flow of peace, culture, and education continues into the future.
結びに、貴ミネソタ大学の無窮の発展と、ご臨席のすべての方々のご健勝を心から記念し、お礼のスピーチとさせていただきます。
In closing my acceptance speech, I offer my heartfelt prayers for the eternal flourishing of the University of Minnesota and the health and successful endeavors of all those present today.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations to the delegation of Mr. Ikeda. We could not have been more delighted to be part of this honor. Thank you to the Department of Soil, Water, and Climate and the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences and those within our school for nominating such a worthy recipient. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Ambassador Bonnie Jenkins, Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security Affairs, a highly regarded expert on assessing global threats, from nuclear weapons to global health. She has served in a variety of roles with the federal government, international organizations, and in academia. Ambassador Jenkins is a familiar face to us. Before joining the State Department, she was a senior fellow in our global policy area, where she was generous with her time and provided sound guidance to our students. She is also deeply committed to ensuring that our nation's policy leaders reflect all of America, so that we may benefit from wisdom and expertise across races, genders, and backgrounds. She is the first African American person to hold the rank of Undersecretary of State. We embrace her passion for diversity and the importance of public service. And I'm so pleased she's back with the Humphrey School today. Please join me in welcoming Ambassador Bonnie Jenkins.
Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction, Dean Bochwe. Good afternoon, graduates. This is amazing. All right, come on. To the graduates, family, and friends, I am very delighted to speak to all of you on such an important day in your lives. I must say that when I was asked to join the Humphrey School in 2021 as a senior fellow, I had no idea that it would lead to today, to my speaking to you at the 2022 Commencement. This is also a special honor for me to provide remarks at the first in-person commencement ceremony in 3 years. Is this great or what? I first visited the University of Minnesota here in Minneapolis in 2016, during the time I was engaged in the Global Health Security Agenda, an international strategy to build capacity to combat infectious diseases. That was, of course, the pre-pandemic days. I visited several experts at your Food Protection and Defense Institute and learned about the great work done there. 2 years later, I had the pleasure of meeting your diplomat in residence, Mary Curtin, during an event in Washington, D.C., and the rest, as they say, is history. Being here today makes me think about the path that led me to where I am today as the Department of State's first African American Undersecretary. From the earliest I can remember, I wanted to work in public service and to be engaged in public affairs. When I was a junior in high school, my school had a program that if a student was on the honor roll, you had an opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. Needless to say, that was another great incentive for me to do well in school. And during those trips, I fell in love with Washington, as well as the work that is done there in domestic and foreign policy. I was bitten with the public service bug. Federal government would be my goal. However, I wanted to learn about other aspects of government before going to Washington. So I started my journey in city government in the Bronx, in New York City, and then moved to state government in Albany, New York, and finally moved into federal government. My desire to be in a job where I was helping people and in areas of work that are larger than myself remained throughout. While I knew I would want to one day be in Washington, I did not know exactly what I would do once I got into the federal government, what aspect of public service and public affairs I would work. Yet I knew I would figure it out once I got there. And as I continued my path in public service, my journey took me in different directions, to include think tanks, philanthropy, teaching, and the military. Like me, you are here because you are seeking a career in public service, in the world of public affairs. You want to be engaged on issues that touch many lives, and in a way that you hope will make those lives better. You are in a noble profession. You realize your interest and passion for working in the public service in some way. As Webster Dictionary says, you want to influence public policy, build and maintain strong relationships, and monitor stakeholders. Yet, let us not forget that you are graduating at a challenging time. You know them well. This commencement is taking place at a time when Russia and Ukraine are at war. The People's Republic of China is becoming stronger and a contesting power. New emerging technologies are creating more questions than answers. We are looking at challenges from food security, a great deal today resulting from the Russian invasion. And let us not, of course, forget the ever-present threat of climate change and infectious diseases. While it is easy to get discouraged in light of these global challenges, one must also seek pathways to use innovative ways to address these challenges. We must approach these issues with imagination, strength, resolve, and a willingness to work with people from all walks of life to tackle them. If there is any time that we need new thinking and young voices to help address these goals, these global challenges, it is today. One of the reasons I established my nonprofit organization, Women of Color Advancing Peace, Security, and Conflict Transformation, or WCAPS, is because of those challenges, and to ensure that voices of all Americans are included in discussions and decision-making on how we address these problems. These are not issues that can be resolved easily, and we certainly need all minds working on solutions. We cannot afford to leave anyone out. I strongly believe that global security challenges are best approached from many perspectives. Promoting a diverse and inclusive 21st century workforce is one of my top priorities. We need all voices, and that includes yours. I will say more about this later. When I was your age, I rode a wave of generational change. When I was a young professional, many of the experts in the arms control and nonproliferation community were nearing retirement age. They saw the problems they had devoted their lives to were not going away, and they encouraged new ways of thinking and perspectives that were not grounded in Cold War thinking. Having benefited from this, I think we may be on the cusp of a similar moment now, as the 9/11 era ends and we wrestle with wide-ranging challenges. For you, today is about starting a new chapter in your life, in this challenging landscape, and thinking how you find your place in the world of public affairs. Once you do, what you do every day will not feel like work. It will be fulfilling your dream and purpose in life. However, until you make that connection of your job and your passion, you will not feel quite right. You will feel that something is missing or just not gelling. So always listen to the voice in your head, and when you're able to, make a shift to find what it is you need to make you happy. There are a few other points that I would like to leave with you. First, believe in yourself. I am sure all of you in life have had the need to prove yourselves at some point. You know what it is like to do that. I wish I could say that you will never have to do that again. However, I can almost guarantee you that you will. There will always be people who doubt your capabilities, and if you're a part of a marginalized group, you will find yourself in that situation even more often. However, when you face times that challenge your belief in yourself, take a moment before you respond to that doubt. Take a deep breath and remind yourself of what you have accomplished and that you have overcome other challenges in your life. Take on these issues and prove to the doubters that they are wrong. You can accomplish what you put your mind to. I wish I could tell you how many times in my life I have had to show those who doubt me that I could do what they think I cannot. This leads to my second point. Don't take on other people's biases and issues. Let me explain. As a woman of color, I have been in meetings where I can tell other attendees may have certain beliefs about my capabilities. They would therefore act in a certain way that tries to mask their opinions, but really do not. Do not let other people's issues create in you what they call the imposter syndrome. This is where a person questions one's own capabilities because of their feelings that they are not capable just because of their being different. What is often the result? A person does not feel comfortable speaking. That person will feel as if everyone is watching, that if that person speaks up, that whatever is said is wrong. Yet the time you spend doing that unnecessary introspection is time taken away from being productive and making real contributions. One must develop the ability to isolate the attitudes coming from others and realize those are not beliefs coming from within. They are from without, and that is where they should stay. Do not be quick to believe what others say about you, just listen to your own voice. Third, remember you are a mentor to others. I take that seriously and understand the role I play in giving back and bringing in young and diverse individuals into the work of public and foreign policy and international security. I consider it my responsibility to mentor the next generation of professionals and make every effort to increase the representation of young people, people of color, and others who are seeking their work in national security and public affairs. As you move up in your career, as you are doing today, you will find that you are increasingly a role model to others. You never know who's looking at you. You never know who you are impacting. Take a moment and think to yourselves about the people you have looked up to or whose lives you have been impressed by, but you did not tell them or they did not know. If you can positively impact one life, you have accomplished so much. You have left your mark. Finally, I want to encourage you to always keep yourself open to opportunities. I know we are always encouraged to have a plan in our lives, and yes, you should. However, that does not mean one should close oneself off from opportunities that may come up that can possibly adjust that plan or even take it totally off course. In my case, as I mentioned, I knew I wanted to work in public service. However, I was open to the unexpected and looked forward to that challenge of determining exactly what I would do rather than fear the unknown. I was able to take advantage of unexpected opportunities that opened up to me. You never know what you are going to like until you dig in and start working on a particular set of issues, or you meet other equally passionate people that inspire you. Personally, I like to pivot every few years and take my career and adjust it in a different direction. I was able to do that as a military reservist and a lawyer, but I also pushed the boundaries of my comfort zone by starting an NGO and spending a portion of my career as an adjunct professor. So always stay tuned to your passion and stay open to how you can fulfill that passion in your work. I want to conclude and say a bit more about the importance of inclusion and bringing to the table the viewpoints of those who are different. As I mentioned, the challenges that we face as a global community today demands that we are able to incorporate all perspectives. When we do not do that, we instead discriminate and push aside a person or group because of discrimination, and we do ourselves and everyone a disservice. We harm what we can achieve together. We can instead suffer from groupthink and turn away those who can challenge our beliefs, or even just say, there can be another way of looking at a situation. Advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility is not just something to be done and then stopped. Every single one of you should be mindful of the need for positive change and ask yourselves, what are you doing regularly to promote that change and to bring inclusion into your work in public affairs? Seek what is different and challenging. We all have a responsibility to cultivate a diverse workforce in our lives where everyone can thrive. I do hope that I have said a few things today that you can take away with you on this amazing day in your lives. I want to say how proud we are of all of you and what you have accomplished. As I said, we need you. We need your ideas, we need your passion, and we need your solutions. Thank you again for your strong interest in public affairs and for joining the ranks of those who are dedicated to helping the world be a better place.
Thank you, Ambassador Jenkins. Now we come to what probably is the most anticipated part of the program. We will welcome a new class of graduates. Our graduates will be presented by faculty members specific to their degree program, who are all noted in your printed program. I will say that we had one additional PhD graduate join us today after the programs were printed, and we are glad to have each and every one of you with us. As you saw with our Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters, academic tradition is that PhD students are hooded on stage by their faculty advisor or other faculty that have been particularly important in their academic accomplishments. This is different from the process of master's degrees. You may have noticed during the procession that the master's candidates are already wearing their hoods, but the PhD candidates will carry them on stage for a ceremonious hooding. Please hold your applause until I've read their names and their accomplishments. Our first PhD in Public Affairs recipient is Alejandra Flores Diaz. Alejandra's track within the PhD program is Public Policy, and the working title of her dissertation is Historically Underrepresented, examining how DEI policy and practice construct representation in higher education. Alejandra is hooded today by Professor Joe Sauce. Our next PhD recipient is Jason Hicks. Jason's track within the PhD of Public Affairs program is Public Policy, and the title of his dissertation is Essays on Historical and Contemporary Occupational Licensing. Andrew will be hooded by Professor Morris Kleiner. Our next PhD graduate is Sang-Yu Lee, whose track within the PhD of Public Affairs program is Public Policy. The title of her dissertation is 3 Essays in Early Childhood Education. Sang-Yu will be hooded by Professor Judy Temple. Next is PhD graduate Tao Tao. His PhD of Public Affairs track is Urban and Regional Planning. His dissertation title is Nonlinear and Threshold Effects of Built Environment Attributes on Travel Behavior. Tao will be hooded by Professors Reg Lindsay and Jason Cow. Our next PhD graduate is Rashad Akeem Williams. His PhD of Public Affairs track is Urban and Regional Planning. The working title for his dissertation is Twin Cities Split Politics, Reparations and the Politics of Recognition and Redistribution. And Rashad will be hooded by Professor Ed Getz. And our final PhD recipient is Xinyi Wu. Xinyi's track within the PhD of Public Affairs program is Urban and Regional Planning. Her dissertation is titled Examining Contextual and Nonlinear Associations Between the Living Environment and Life Satisfaction. Xinyi will be hooded by Professor Jason Cow. Congratulations to each of our newest PhD graduates. It is now time for master's degrees. I would like to invite Diplomat in Residence Mary Curtin, who is the Area Chair for Global Policy, which incorporates the Master of Development Practice program, to the far podium. I will also invite Regent Powell to the front with me.
Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degree of Masters of Development Practice, and I do so on behalf of the faculty of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Khalid Abdul Latif. Nuran Tarek Ali. Toby Olalolu Wakitan Babalola. Hannah Claire Barnes. Dennis Enewaru. Carla Godoy da Costa Lima. Eva Jean Ko. Casey Ortban. Sarah Ragab Hussein. Samuel Turner. Congratulations to our Masters of Development Practice graduates. I invite Director of the Human Rights Program, Barbara Fry, to the podium.
Thank you very much. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Human Rights, and I do so on behalf of the faculties in this joint degree in the College of Liberal Arts and the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Brenna Ann Boyton. Catherine Burke. Veronica Cadavid Gonzalez. McIan Campbell. Basil Marwan El Morawed. Samira Hussein. Ariana Elise Kopachinski. Shawnee Krangle. Sarah May Krieger. Larmi Na Korkoi. Zoe Martens. Alexis Victory Milton. Victor Molina. Hannah Lynn Nusser. Tenzin Nima. Kareem Orcel. Colleen Lee Ryan. Rachel Jeanette Steiner. Paul Sullivan. Madeline Jewel Titus. Brenda Starlene Urueta. Raven Ziegler. Congratulations to our Masters of Human Rights graduates. I invite Director Kevin Gertis to the podium.
Thank you. And it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Affairs, and I do so on behalf of the faculty of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Kathy Ehlers. Abdi Ahmed. Edith Patricia Barrett. Guy Edmund Bowling. Nicole Chamberlain. Heidi Jedlicka Halverson. Catherine Henley. Rosalva Movid Hernandez. Bridget Hillard. Eric Jordan Howard. Diadene Russian Galika Cabasso. Mary Patricia Ladner. Brady B. Musser. Jessica Bosibori Niaribo. Eric Ofori Atta. Bob Wealth Oakida Omantesi. Erica Orchalski. Elena Peterson. Julia Kwanrud. Tenzing Jigme. Barbara Rose Thies. Jennifer Lynn Williamson. Keith Edward Wine. Corey Dawson and service dog Oscar. Congratulations to our Masters of Public Affairs graduates. And I invite Professor Joe Sass to the podium.
Congratulations, y'all. You did the thing. We are very proud and very grateful to have gotten to travel alongside you in this small part of your journey. And I suppose there's a part here for me. Okay, it gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degrees of Masters of Public Policy, and I do so on behalf of the faculty of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Adriana Sue Goodwin. Danielle Fuker. Thank you. Sarthak Agarwal. Ayan Ahmed Ali. J. Thomas Anderson. Angela Marie Garagiola. Brenna Bargefield. McKenna Karis Beisman. Jacqueline Oakes Bowie. Renbin Lee Dixon. Andrew Durkott. Gamada Hussein. Kath. Oh, that was great. Catherine Lee Ingersoll. Stephen Coots. Meingyu Ma. Peter Stephen Mayer. Robert R. Mengi. Bethany K. Olson. Niyati Chandresh Panchal. Caitlin Rohr. Congratulations. Joe Avin Rudkevich. Alice Joanna Faye Messervy Ruta. Shelby Alyssa Rutzik. Avram Devon Scarlett.
Congratulations.
Corey Randall Shermer. Trupti Nayak Storley. Sarah Wagner. Caitlin Mariah Walker. Colin Sebastian Wolf. Congratulations to our Masters of Public Policy graduates. I'd like to invite Associate Professor Gabe Chan to the podium.
Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Science in Science, Technology, and Environmental Policy, and I do so on behalf of the faculty of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Dylan Ray Ackerman. Eric Berry. Cade Bolin. Eileen Elizabeth Cole. Sean Francis Cullen. Dylan Tabor Cummins. Hannah Margaret Dunn. Lauren Nessa Gray. Madeline Lee Hanson Connell. Trey Robert Harsh. Chandra D. Herr. Madeline K. Lydon. Kathleen Marie Murphy. Kristen Peterson. Megan Daria Schmaltz. John Ulrich Sang. Mark Gregory Teklinski. Kelly Wilder. Congratulations to our Masters of Science in Science, Technology, and Environmental Policy graduates. I now invite Professor Greg Lindsay to the podium.
Thank you, Gabe. It gives me great pleasure to present the candidates for the degree of Masters of Urban and Regional Planning, and I do so on behalf of the faculty of the Humphrey School of Public Affairs. Kai Anderson. Emily Anderson. Colette Juleson Baumgartner. Jacob Berger. Grant Brokaw. Barrett Clausen. Dakota Crowell. Don Doe. Lila Johanna Franklin. Jed Russell Hansen. Benjamin Davis Harrington. Emily Elizabeth Hestbeck. Tia Jacobs. Robbie King. Kayla Kurtz. Frank Joseph Kanan. Ulysses Linares. Daniel Lubin. Andrew Baker Lupton. Bradley William Marr. Ben Anthony Manabog, Jr. Laszlo Brendan Martone. Gordon Harrison Moore. Kenneth Edward Niemeyer. Henry Lloyd Paddock. Hannah Carter Randall. Maxwell Robb. Maxwell Savage. Deanna B. Siegel Garcia. Jacob Zelensky. Congratulations to our Master of Urban and Regional Planning graduates. I invite Regent Ken Powell to the center podium for the conferral of degrees.
I would like now to ask all the graduates to rise. Upon recommendation of the faculty and by the authority granted to the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, I now confer upon each of you the degree to which you have qualified. Congratulations to one and all, to every single one of you.
That was a moment we've all been waiting for, wasn't it? Congratulations, graduates, on your accomplishments. Congratulations, families, loved ones, ancestors who brought you all here today. You are now part of an amazing community of alumni throughout the state, the nation, and the world. And so now, to welcome you to the ranks of Humphrey School alumni, it is my pleasure to introduce the president of the Humphrey School Alumni Board, Kristen Thompson. You can give her a round of applause before she comes up. Kristen is the Assistant Director of Service Development at Metro Transit, based here in the Twin Cities, where she oversees operational analysis, scheduling, and service budgeting for the agency's multimodal transit system, as well as initiatives to improve bus speed and reliability. As an undergraduate at Macalester College, Kristen studied abroad in Amsterdam, which sparked her interest in building communities that center transit, bicycling, and walking. She subsequently earned a Master of Urban and Regional Planning degree from right here at the Humphrey School. Yeah, MERP, get that. Get that, MERP. Since joining Metro Transit as a service analyst 15 years ago, Kristen has embraced opportunities to develop her technical practice and assume leadership responsibilities. She most enjoys developing pragmatic, collaborative, data-driven solutions to new challenges facing the agency. Please welcome to the stage, Kristen Thompson.
Humphrey School graduates, and MERPs, thank you for that shout out. On behalf of the Humphrey Alumni Board, I am so pleased to welcome you to our Alumni Society. We are over 5,500 strong, spread all over the country and the world, applying our Humphrey education in diverse ways. As president of the Alumni Board, I am honored to greet you and congratulate you today in person, an opportunity that has not been available these last few years. I have to say, being here today has really touched me, and it means a lot to me to be part of your special day. Many of you started this journey 2 years ago in 2020. In doing so, you took a tremendous leap of faith. When you accepted your place in the Humphrey School, a global pandemic continued to spread with no hope yet of a vaccine. Over the summer, a racial reckoning unfolded with Minneapolis at the epicenter. You did not yet know that you would spend your first full year learning remotely and need to find new ways to connect with your classmates and instructors. Members of the classes of 2020 and 2021, I see you. Your Humphrey School experience may have started more traditionally, but your experience was disrupted too, forcing you to quickly adapt as the world shifted all around us. All of you stepped forward into the unknown, answering the call to become a leader who will advance the common good in a diverse world. You have shown resilience and adaptability that you should be proud of. You connected with classmates virtually on Discord. You took advantage of working remotely to find internships near and far. You've produced projects and papers that respond in real time to the challenges of today. Your Humphrey School journey does not end today. Rather, you are taking another leap to join our community of alumni. I hope this community provides a soft landing as you take the next steps in your career. Connections with other alumni have been an enduring and rich part of my own professional path. There are so many ways to stay connected and give back, from attending events to mentoring students. Alumni play a critical role in supporting the school's mission, and each one of you has an important part to play in that. But first, today is a day to celebrate. Take pride in what you have accomplished and take that next leap forward with joy and confidence. We are so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kristen. On behalf of the Humphrey School community, I want to congratulate all of you on a job well done. Students, family members, friends, and faculty members, a special thanks to all of you in the audience who have supported these graduates during their time at the Humphrey School. Now it is our turn to watch them go out and change the world for the better. Graduates, by virtue of your studies here at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, you are now innovative leaders who have been inspired, educated, and supported, who will advance the common good throughout our diverse world. Congratulations, celebrate, and go out and do good work. That concludes our program. I hope that you will join us for a reception with refreshments on the patio behind the concert hall, where students and their families are also invited to have their photos taken by our professional photographer at the photo booth. I ask that you please remain seated for the recessional. Again, thank you for celebrating with us today, and good afternoon.